Right, the hashtag one. Expensive car. It's got 5 cameras in it. It's one at the front. It's got one underneath each of the side mirrors. It's got one just there in the back. And it's got one just in there. None of which are actually recorded. They're all used for either reversing or manoeuvring the car. That one is designed to look at the car in front and tell you off for being too close to it. Now, I think it's China and those areas, their current firmware does actually record these cameras. So you can use them for a dash cam. And you know what they say, something is better than nothing. However, these cameras aren't really designed to be high quality because they're really designed, especially these front ones, they're all stretched out and pixelated. That's the front camera. That's not telling you fuck all, is it? Look at that. The actual quality of the cameras is pretty shit. So even when they do add the ability to record those, it's not worth the time. If you're going to have a camera, you might as well have something that's actually going to work. Now, most people will just buy a normal camera, stick up in the top corner, and wire it down to the fuse box, which is just down there. Now, that's boring. Not doing that. So what we're going to do instead, we've got a FitCamX. I'm not quite sure how the Chinese decide on the names for their products and their companies, but it's a pretty boring unboxing, to be honest. It's like pass the parcel without the music. Right, this is the camera. Obviously, you need to take the lens cover off, but this replaces this surround, and is a direct replacement. All the clips are the same. I've already had one off before when I was fixing the car. Except the difference is, obviously, it's got a camera built into it, SD card in the side, comes with the SD card as well. Power, just in case you need to turn it off for some reason. It should turn on with the car and start recording automatically. Just take a photograph if you want to. Now, obviously I've just shown you the quality of the video footage that it could take, and that's just shit. So these are apparently 4K. I can well imagine that's going to be much better quality than the cameras they give you. Now, fitting should also be incredibly easy. That connector doesn't relate to anything in this car, but in here they give you, that's the connector, and these two, and they're even good enough to give you a little photograph to show you. Now, chances are you haven't been behind there, so you don't know what the hell was going on. Now, this is the edge of the mirror. That is the rain sensor. This is, I would imagine it's designed for a front-facing recording camera, but it doesn't look like any cars are actually fitted with those, especially considering it's all blacked out halfway through, so you wouldn't be able to fit a camera in there anyway. Yeah, this rain sensor, it's got a little connector there. What you got to do is unplug it, connect it to that, plug that back into the rain sensor, and then that will take the power from the rain sensor and power your camera. So it should literally be a 30-second fix. Of course it won't be, but I have to say it seems nicely made. I've obviously done a fair bit of work to copy that. Yeah, the sides of that are all ribbed and that isn't. So it's not a direct copy, but yeah, I'm sure it'll fit perfectly well. You've got your standard bit of paper that folds out to the size of a football pitch that contains 300 different languages that you'll never use. It's probably most of the information on there you'd never use. What you have to do is just download the app, and then you should be able to connect it directly to your phone. Obviously, unlike most cameras, there is no screen on it, so you set it up on your phone, and you just hope and pray that it works, and it is working. There should be lights going on in there to tell you something's going on. I think the only thing I'm going to do now is to actually fit it and test the quality of the footage. I will leave a link to the one that I've bought in case you want to buy it as well. But in the box you get a little levery tool so you can take that bit of plastic off, and also a double-ended SD card reader. USB-C that end, USB-A that end. So whichever you want to use, you stick in. I'd say the only thing I don't like about this is there is no adjustment to the camera. You know, you can't adjust it up or down. You are pretty much stuck with the angle. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's set a bit too high, because normally what you really want is a lot more bonnet. If you don't want to record the sky, because then you get contrast issues. Ideally, you want the sky to be like the top third, but I'd imagine the way this is set up, it's probably going to be pretty much dead in the middle, which is less than ideal. But if it's a good camera, it will handle the contrast all right. All right, fix. Let's fit it. Let's find out. Yeah, simple to take off. It's got 2 clips at the front and like some pegs at the back that sort of fold in. Yeah, so you need to pull it down from the front and it'll come off. Then you just need to get your little tool in there, and that comes off. Get a replacement, and we need to unplug the sensor, plug that into your splitter, plug the other end of the splitter into the sensor. And what you don't want is any of this to be rattling around, so it's up to you. It's fairly easy to get to, so if you want to, you can zip tie it up out of the way. That plugs in. You get a little light come on, tell you that it's doing something. And you need to lose all of the cables. Oh, actually, first you need to remove this panel. I do feel that maybe they've given you a little bit too much wire, but I found it much easier to have all the wire hanging out of the way, because it was just wrapping around itself and getting in the way. And then once you've got everything in, you can then feed it all into the hole somewhere. It doesn't really matter where it goes. Once you've fed it all out of the way, return your little finishing piece in. Reset your mirror. Right, that's it. Right, you just need to download the FitCamX from whatever Play Store or the App Store or whatever it is. Click on the Add to Camera, and it'll ask you to mess around and go to the Wi-Fi and that sort of nonsense. There's the LHD, JMD, and the, there you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stick that in, and that'll connect to the camera. Don't forget to take the blue cover off. And from here you can change all the settings. So you've got the different resolutions, how long it records for. Okay, doing the software was actually quite easy. You just had to connect to the Wi-Fi, put in the password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and go back to it, and then change the settings. I don't know why you wouldn't have it on the highest resolution, because it looks like it's got a very high resolution sensor, and what it does, for lower resolutions, it just brings the size of the screen that you're seeing in. So yeah, really you want the widest possible at the highest resolution. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it drops frames or anything like that. But it is filming because it's flashing. I'm assuming that's what it means anyway. I'm not really going to be able to show you any footage yet, because I have to take the car for a drive. Any flickering you can see on this particular footage is because I've got LED lights, and they do tend to flicker on some cameras. Yeah, when you first turn it on, the screen will be totally blue, and doesn't matter what you do, it won't change anything. And that's because you've got to take the sticker off the front. And normally these are slightly see-through, and you look at it and think, Christ, it's really, really blurry, but this was, no, that's literally, you can't see a bloody thing through it. It took me at least 20 seconds to work that one out. Yeah, so now, there you go. In fact, I'll even put the footage in of me doing exactly this bit right now. If they do ever release the firmware so it records from the standard car cameras, it's better than nothing. It's not going to be as good as a proper camera. You know, is this going to be as good as having, say, a next base 422 or a next base 622? Of course not. You know, they're smaller cameras. You could stick them right up in this corner. They're going to be well out of the way. The only issue with those is then they've got to run the cable all the way around there. You know, hiding cables is just a bit of a pain. If you can find any power in this area, that'd be marvellous. But I mean, it's worth trying. To be honest, I can't remember how much it cost. It wasn't ridiculous money. I just looked, it's about 130 quid. Obviously, prices change, but if you want one, I'll leave a link in the description below. As again, better than nothing.
I do exercise 3 times a week, and my trainer says, "Oh, I mean the horses. You're Napoleon, your best bet."
Search Capital One CreditWise to see your score today. CreditWise from Capital One. That's one good thing.
Did you know that it takes just 30 seconds to get a quote from We Buy Any Car? And it took me just nice chilled out colour.
Oh, okay.
Whereas pink was like bright red.
Yeah, I've read them in the mini.
Quite flat, isn't it, really? Headroom.
Right, so my idea. I've got one of these things that's supposed to clip over phones and iPads and stuff like that. And then you screw that lens in, and then once that's screwed in, you can move it around to set the correct polarity. All we're going to do is just cut this ring off and then remove this this rubber. Maybe put a little bit of glue on there and actually glue that to the front of the dash cam. Then I can screw that in, set the correct angle to depolarize the light so I won't get any reflections from the dashboard. Well, less anyway. Right, there you go. Cut off the excess, just sand it down. I'm just going to take the rubbery bit off the back. Okay, there you go. A bit double-sided. Could use glue, I suppose. Time to fit. There you go. It's out of the sight of the camera. I've spun it around so now you no longer see the reflection of the dashboard. You just won't really sort of accelerate like a knob. You don't really need to, do you? That's the other problem though, when you've got it in grabber's phone, just even slightly touching the accelerator so it goes. Alright, what we need to do.
I do love that the T-Roc has got Apple CarPlay now.
Yeah, central, isn't it?
I will miss those.
I think I need to might adjust the headlights slightly there.
A little bit.